Hey y'all, it's Danny and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm 26 and I run my own embroidery business. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to use 3D puff embroidery, and I'm also going to be using it with a duffel bag. I'm sure you've probably seen it on t-shirts and sweatshirts, which I can also always do a video for. So the first thing you're going to need, of course, is your duffel bag. Can you tell what my favorite color is? If it's not obvious, it's pink. This is a nice, sturdy, thick material too, so it's going to be really good for our embroidery and our puff. The next thing that you're going to need is foam. Now, be careful not to use just any foam. Do not get foam from the craft stores because they are not specifically made for embroidery, and it's not going to give you a nice clean pull when we finally go and pull the foam from our stitches. So I like to get my foam from Sulky, but I ultimately really like to get my foam from All Stitch. So this is 2mm if I'm not mistaken. The next thing that you're going to need is your hoop. For this project, I am using my 8x9 Mighty hoop. The next thing that you're going to want to use is cutaway stabilizer. I like using cutaway for my 3D puff because you don't want your stitches and your design to sink when you take your hoop off. The next thing that you're going to want to use is temporary adhesive. As for our little supplies, I'm going to be using a pair of nippers, a pair of tweezers, and 2 different types of scissors. I'm going to use my fabric scissors to cut my stabilizer and to cut my foam, and then I'm going to use my little applique scissors if I have any loose threads or I need to clean anything up. The next thing that you're going to want to have is your design. This is my monogram design, and if you see, it's sitting nicely in that 8x9 frame. Not every font is digitized for 3D foam, so you're going to want to make sure that your font is digitized specifically for 3D puff foam embroidery. Another tip is to make sure that you match the color of your thread to your foam. So as you saw, my foam is pink, and as you see, my design and my thread are going to be pink. Okay, now here is the star of the show. This is the Melco Summit, and this is my 16 needle embroidery machine. It handles 3D foam absolutely beautifully, and I haven't had to slow down my machine at all when working with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and set the arms at the proper distance so that the 8x9 Mighty hoop can rest nicely within them. The next thing that I'm going to do is change my Mighty hoop in the Melco Summit's user interface because it does recognize our Mighty hoops, and then I'm also going to load in my design. If you haven't checked out my Mighty hoop video, definitely do that because I go all into detail about the Mighty hoops within the Melco Summit's user interface. So here is my 9x8, 8x9 Mighty hoop, and I'm going to press that and load it in. I'm also going to go ahead and change the color to pink because remember, we are doing a pink design to match our pink foam. Now let's go ahead and hoop our duffel. I also forgot to mention it would be really nice to have the 8x9 backing holder when you do this because this is going to hold our stabilizer in place while we hoop our duffel. Now I'm just taking my cutaway stabilizer and my fabric scissors and cutting out a nice square that's going to be big enough for the hoop. Now I'm going to pull apart my 8x9 Mighty hoop by that bottom tab, and I'm going to press my backing holder on top of that to secure the stabilizer. Like I said, this is my first time doing it, so bear with me. I'm going to set my Mighty hoop with my stabilizer and my backing holder into my duffel, and now I am just going to take my hoop and snap it down. Okay, y'all, we are all hooped up. I'm actually pretty excited and I'm happy that I was able to get this hooped. Remember to make sure to take your backing holder out. Now I'm just going to get my duffel onto my machine. And those 2 clicks means it's secure. Now I'm going to do my trace. I'm going to layer 2 sets of 2mm to make 4mm and put it onto my bag. What I really love about the Summit is that the screen is basically a live stitch monitor. So as you can see, it's showing me exactly what stitching, where it's at, and how much longer I have left on this design. Okay guys, we are done. I'm going to go ahead and take this off of the machine, and then we are going to pull away our foam and clean this up. Now this is where our tools come in. I am just taking my applique scissors and my tweezers, and after I pull this foam away from my stitches, I'm gonna go ahead and clean it up a bit. Now I'm going to peel away my foam, and this actually doesn't need too much cleanup from what it looks like. And like I said, y'all, it's really important that you get a font that is specifically digitized for 3D foam, because it's really going to make a difference in your final stitch out. And I'm just using my tweezers, pull out these little bits. And there we go. That is so cute. I do need to do a little bit of cleanup on the S, but it came out really, really nice. There are those little bits of foam peeking out through the middle of the S, and I'm going to push those little pieces back in. Like I said earlier in the video, it really helps to use the thread color that matches your foam because it's way less noticeable. Okay guys, there is my finished bag, and I'm gonna take my mighty hoop off and then show you guys the final look. And cut out my stabilizer from the inside of my bag. So I could also definitely embroider more of this if I wanted to. I could add some details around my monogram or embroider the side. I really like the simplicity and how this came out though. I'm so happy with it, and I hope you guys learned something and that you enjoyed this video. This was just a sample bag for me, but I am so happy to offer this to my clients. And if you would like to order a custom duffel, please visit theartsofdanny.com. Thank you guys so much for watching my video, and I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe for so much more.